Welcome back to Red Hawk Media. Today we're looking at the next part of our web design unit here. And today we're talking about the CSS. We're going to start with some small steps. We've already created an index page and we've already created a default page which has all our CSS styles on it. We're going to add in our first CSS style. Beginning with our background. We're going to work from the bottom of our website and work up here. So let's go ahead here. I've got Dreamweaver already open. And you can see that it comes up with these dialog boxes right away. I've got the welcome screen. And if I've been working on a bunch of different websites, I'm going to have them all listed over here under my open recents. Now, this will tend to get a little confusing if I've got multiple websites over here. Index, I don't know which one it's for. But over on the side here, I can always choose which website I happen to be working on. So I'm working on the new Red Hawk Media site here. And what I want to do is, once I hit my drop down to expand this, I'm going to go ahead and open up the index page from here. Okay. Now, this is what I've got so far. I've got just the beginning steps of everything. I've only been working on this a little bit right along with you guys here. And what I want to do is actually, let's take a look at the code. Okay, this is where we started. We started by labeling all of our different divs. We came up with different class names for them. So the overall div, or the big box that we put everything into here, or container, we called the overall wrap. Okay. Then we had some different ones that we called maybe the footer, the content. We've got the header. Yours will vary a little bit. Okay, but you've got a bunch of different containers or divs that are labeled by class, and they have a specific name now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to define what those things actually mean. Okay, so over on the default side of things, because we've already linked these two documents together, I'm going to go over to my CSS page, and I'm going to take a look at the body part of things. I'm going to start with the body because that's where our background is going to go. Now, I've got a bunch of different stuff that I can do on the CSS sheet. This is where I will actually see things take shape, is by putting the code onto this particular page here, or onto this document. So the first one that I'm going to work with, we already probably have a body one that's typed in there, but we don't have any of this stuff typed in there yet. Now, these are the different elements of the CSS. This is the first element, saying that the background is going to be an image, and that this is the name of the image. Now, I know that's the name of the image because over on my images folder over here, okay, I've got all of my images that I got from my Photoshop document, layer by layer, importing these in as JPEGs and PNGs. My best resource that I've been working from and learning as I go here is actually W3 Schools. They have a whole CSS tutorial. This is what it looks like. If you go into the CSS tutorial area where it's all CSS stuff, they have one that's specific for backgrounds. And you'll see that it explains a lot of the different elements that are available to you in the CSS. So background color, background image, background repeat, attachment, position, and so on. And then there's explanations for how these work down here. Some of you have already used the background color one, but this time, since we already made this in Photoshop, we're going to be using background image. And then we're going to be using some of the other elements to make sure that it's in the right position. So this is kind of your stop to check everything out. Okay, now using those elements, I'm going to get my background. That's our main goal for today, is just to get the background in there. So if I go back to Dreamweaver, and I'm on my default page, on the CSS page, and I'll know that because it's highlighted up here at the top. I go into the body tag, and I've already got my brackets created. In between the brackets, I'm going to add in my elements. What I can do is I can go back to my W3 Schools. For my background image, I can grab this background image, and I don't need those brackets because I've already got my brackets in there. Okay, I can Command C that, come back here, and paste that in here. Now, obviously, my background is a little bit different. It's not paper GIF. I have my own name for this. My background, if I take a look over here, is just bg.jpg. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in exactly the way it appears over there. .jpg between the parentheses here, and make sure that there's a semicolon at the end. That just indicates that there's going to be more than one element in the group. I don't have to put a semicolon after the last one because there's obviously no more elements. Make sure that the bracket is closed. I'm all set. If I go back to the source code now, I'm looking at the code, but I can switch over to the design, and I can see what's going on here. Now, if I go to the live view, it'll show me what everything looks like here once I've got all that stuff typed in there. Okay, so right now I've got the my background in here, which is really basic. Okay, it's white to a gray gradient, and it goes from there. Okay, so that's our first step. Let's work on getting our backgrounds in there today, and then tomorrow we'll start layering the content and the other pieces of the website on top of that. Thanks for joining us. This has been Red Hawk Media, and this is our web design unit. Until next time.